task force to conduct a study on littering in the city. The study aims to help local leaders and community groups make decisions about how to reduce litter. Volunteers will be able to collect and document the type of material, condition, and quantity of litter from 12 different locations within city limits. According to the Environmental Protection Agency's Trash-Free Waters program, they estimate that at least 80% of trash in waterways comes from land-based sources. The project was funded by the United States Environmental Protection Agency under an assistance agreement with Wichita State University's Environmental Finance Center. In other news, in celebration of Earth Day yesterday, Winfield's Country View Elementary School kicked off construction of its new Max Sunshine project using solar panels at the school.
Unlike traditional solar panels where there's a heavy metal frame and glass, these solar panels are actually part of the roofing material itself.
The $50,000 project was being funded from the Department of Energy's Solar in Your Community Challenge. Now let's go to sports.
A day after the NFL announced some rule changes, college football also has some of their own, including an amendment to overtime. Teams will now have to go for two after touchdowns, starting with the second overtime period, and beginning in the third round, each team will just get one play to score from their 3-yard line. Another addition to the rules that came out yesterday was the NCAA will allow teams to send in video to a review panel about fake injuries on the field. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Mason Voth.
A commercial about what a store doesn't do. Derby Mattress, 105 South Baltimore in Derby, doesn't jack prices way up and then try to make you feel special when you're able to budge them off that jacked up price. Derby Mattress doesn't have large overhead. They're your locally owned hometown mattress store. What Derby Mattress does do? Offer everyday low prices all the time. Derby Mattress, 105 South Baltimore in Derby. Goddard Ace Hardware, your spring plant and planting store. Box store selection, nursery quality, and a lot more value for the money without the crowds or parking hassles. Goddard Ace Hardware has everything and anything you'll need. Annuals, perennials, vegetables, succulents, and all the fertilizers and soils to maximize your growing season. In fact, buy your plant and pottery and get complimentary use of the Scott's Potting Soil Station. Scott's even gives you the Miracle Grow potting soils. Goddard Ace Hardware, your spring plant and planting headquarters.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. No one is funnier than you. People laugh just thinking about the things you've said. I'm laughing at one of them right now. Coworkers repeat your jokes at the office, but they're never as good as when you tell them, and shame on them for trying. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better knowing you could save when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Although I'm sure you'd have a funnier way to say that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Going to take a look at Kansas and Oklahoma's closing cash grain bids. It is Friday, April 23rd, and we saw some upward movement eventually in the futures markets. We saw some upward movement in the cash markets as well. Let's take a look at the numbers. Starting in Concordia, Kansas, wheat finished at $6.69, corn $6.26, Milo $6.19, beans $14.90. At Goodland, wheat $6.38, corn $6.67, Milo $6.51, soybeans $14.80. At Garden City, the wheat $6.56, the corn $6.96, the Milo $6.86, and the soybeans $14.65. Sumner County, wheat $6.48, corn $6.56, Milo $6.36, beans $15.05. At Fredonia, the wheat was at $6.78, the corn $6.79, the Milo $6.80. See how that went. And the soybeans at $15.06. At Belleville, the wheat $6.59, corn $6.16, Milo $6.09, soybeans $14.80. We'll get to Oklahoma now. Start at Panhandle Hooker, wheat $6.53, corn $7.08, Milo $6.75, soybeans $14.74. At Ponca City, the wheat $6.40, the corn $6.47, the Milo $6.96, and the soybeans $14.95. And at Enid, $6.68 on the wheat, $6.51 on the corn, $7.31 on Milo, and $15.05 on soybeans. Grab the calculator. Here are averages. $6.56 across Kansas and Oklahoma on wheat. That's up 6. Corn was at $6.60 on the average across the two states. That's up 7. Milo had an average of $6.64. That's up 4. And soybeans had a good day, up 7. The average across Kansas and Oklahoma on beans was $14.88. So everything was up in our cash grains across both Kansas and Oklahoma. Wheat was up 6, corn up 7, Milo up 4 at the end of the day, and soybeans added 7 as well. Kansas and Oklahoma closing cash grain bids from Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Cherry Oaks Golf Course of Cheney. Private conditions at public course prices. Cherry Oaks Golf Course.
Showers and storms expected this afternoon in south central Kansas, especially south and east of the Kansas Turnpike. A few of them could be on the strong side. We'll see a daytime high near 60. Overnight tonight, the showers and storms will come to an end. Lows drop to 44 by morning. For Saturday, mostly sunny and warming up. A high back near 70. With your forecast, I'm Cake meteorologist Frank Waugh.
That's your latest Cake First Alert weather update on the Big Talker, KQAM.
At 4:06, it's currently 56 degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
They are absolutely desperate to pretend the last 4 years never happened and for them to go back to what they liked to do before, which is create these massive spending bills to pretend that it's really, really important to you when you only get about 5% of what's in the bill, and they can't do it because we're aware of it. We're paying attention to it, and they don't like that.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You finally made it to the end of the week. I know you were excited. I know I am excited. It's been a crazy, wild week, but yet we are here. We made it, and you can just take a breath. Welcome into the program. It is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station, all over the country on radio and TV, plus our live streaming and podcasting as well. Thanks for hanging out. Your Millennial General reporting for duty today, as we do every single day. We have a lot to get to, so I want to jump right into it today because we have limited amount of time to chit-chat. You can always find us on our social media at Hoosier Reason. You can find the website at HoosierReason.com, and that's that. Today, kind of an interesting way to wrap up the week, as we have a few different guests, a lot of guests actually coming on the program today, which I am excited about. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to be talking about inventions. We're going to be talking about innovation in business, and can you create something today, and what's that process look like? As we have some guests coming in studio, which I will announce here in just a little bit. We also sat down earlier this morning with Congressman Bob LATTA from the 5th District of Ohio. We're going to play that interview here in just a minute. And of course, like usual, it's a way too long interview to play the full thing on the show, which means you'll be able to get an extended special feature version of the podcast, which you can find on any of your favorite podcasting sites. So we'll get to that here in just a second. But did you know, before we do that, and we'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, did you know that now there are businesses offering $50 bonuses just to show up for a job interview? I know. Now, this comes at the same time here in the state of Kansas, and this is an issue going on all over the country right now. But obviously, living in Kansas, this is kind of where I was focused today, and I'm going to be talking about it on a local show tomorrow as well. But in the state of Kansas, there are 45,000 jobs that the Kansas Department of Labor, and they have a program called Kansas Works here, where you can actually jump on there. They do job fairs, in-person job fairs, virtual job fairs, and they actually have these programs to where you can find jobs all over the state. Any type of industry, any type of education that you want or that you need, they can guide you in the right direction, and they help you find jobs. There are record number in the state of Kansas, 45,000 jobs currently posted on there. And yet businesses are not able to actually get workers. Restaurants that are opening up, bars, nightclubs that are trying to reopen after the COVID-19 pandemic are not able to find workers right now. Why? Because we just extended unemployment benefits and the additional $300 a week or $400 a week for unemployment benefits through September with the COVID-19 relief packages. So while we're trying to actually open the country back up, people don't want to go back to work because they're making more money sitting at home with the additional unemployment benefits from the COVID-19 pandemic. So how do we get people back into the workforce? Well, now they're trying to offer $50 incentives just to show up to the interview. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. It's a crazy day, so happy Friday to you. It's a free-for-all Friday. We're going to kind of jump around, have a little bit more lighthearted discussions, have some fun today on the program like we do to wrap up the week. But first, I want to jump into it. We sat down with him earlier this morning. It's been a while since we've had him on the program. We try to get about a monthly interview with him. He's from the 5th Congressional District in the great state of Ohio. It's Congressman Bob LATTA, and this is what he had to say as we talked about tomorrow on Saturday is National Drug Take-Back Day, which means if you have old prescription bottles, old pills, things that you don't use anymore, the police stations, Different emergency units will take those all over the country. Just no questions. They'll just take them. They'll dispose of them. That way you're not flushing them down the toilet and contaminating water systems and that sort of thing. And it's an important thing as we continue to fight the opioid crisis here in the country. At the same time, he talked a little bit about immigration as well. This is what he had to say. It's Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of Ohio. It's Congressman Bob Latta with us here again today. Congressman, how are you?
Great. How are you today?
I am living the dream, and I appreciate it as always being able to chat with you. It's been an extremely busy time in Washington, D.C., outside of just the headlines from what we see out there with, AOC coming out with another part of her Green New Deal and some of the other, lunacy that the Democrats have proposed. But you've been hard at work. There are a lot of bills that you're working on right now. We have Drug Take Back Day tomorrow as we're still dealing with a massive opioid problem in the country. Let's start right there. What's some legislation that you're working on, and how can we start cleaning up the streets a little bit?
Well, thanks again, because, again, it's so important that, a couple of years ago we saw that overdose deaths in this country had hit over 73,000. It went down a little bit. Pandemic hit last year. We had over 88,000 people die of overdoses last year in this country, 88,000. So the trend is alarming, going up. And so what we really have to do is, a couple of things. One, we got to make sure that people find help without having to take some type of an opioid or turning to heroin or cocaine and things like that. We want to make sure that there's better pain management out there and other types of drugs that can be used, that people don't get hooked on opioids the way they have. And so a couple of things I've been working on. One is we want to make sure that bad actors out there that have been in violation of the law can turn around and get licenses again to keep pushing things across the country in manufacture, distribution. And another is to make sure that we make fentanyl a drug that's always going to be scheduled as a Schedule 1, and not go through this crazy thing of saying that it's got to be every year that we have to go back and look at it again, because we know that fentanyl, as it flows into the country, especially from China, just a tiny little fleck of fentanyl will kill you. And these drug dealers are lacing fentanyl into marijuana now and other drugs. And so it is, frightening out there what's happening. And so, as you mentioned, tomorrow is the National Drug Take Back Day, so folks can, get in their medicine cabinets and get rid of all the stuff that they don't want to. We don't want people flushing them down the toilet or putting it down the drain, because that ends up in the streams and everything else again. So we've really got to make sure that we get these things off the street, what I've been working on, and also folks, for all the different types of medications that they're using, they can get rid of them and get it done safely.
No, absolutely. That's a huge part of it. Now, some of the drugs that you mentioned with cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, some of these ridiculous drugs that are still all around, have we seen a trend in the nation between stuff that's being made here in the United States and being distributed, or things that are coming in from China or Mexico? Is it being produced here locally and made in the USA, or is it coming across our borders?
It's both. And, I was down on the border a couple of weeks ago, and, it's the human tragedy, for one thing, seeing what's happening down there. But at the same time, when all these human traffickers are bringing these people up, they know that the Border Patrol has 40% of their people just doing paperwork instead of being out there patrolling. That the drugs are coming in, and we know that cocaine, heroin, meth, marijuana, fentanyl are all coming into the country. And so, we're seeing, I know when I've talked to law enforcement here in Northwest Ohio, when they talk about meth, they said it is so pure that it has to be coming in from Mexico, what they're seeing. So, it's coming across the border. And so we want to, we've got to stem this tide, but we also have got to get people off this stuff so that there's not the drug traffickers out there don't have a market for it. So it's really important that we break this horrible cycle.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, and hopefully we can start seeing some headway on that one. Speaking of the border real quick, give us an update on what's going on down there. Vice President Kamala Harris was given charge to handle the issue down there, and yet she hasn't gone down there, hasn't given a press conference on what's going on down there. Have we seen any changes outside of the fact that I heard that maybe President Joe Biden had started working on the wall again because of the issue going on?
Well, first and foremost, you got to listen to the Border Patrol people, and the Border Patrol, I was down there 3 years ago, and what I saw then, what I saw today, is you can't even put it on the same planet. The Border Patrol said, look, you don't have to build a wall from sea to shining sea. Just, listen to them where you need to put these the sections up to stop the traffic. And they said they can stop 95%. And so, President Trump, we authorized, construction of sections of the wall to make sure it's up. Unfortunately, Joe Biden stopped it. Now, here's the thing. Even though he stopped it, you're still paying for it because, well, guess what? It's a contract. So we're paying people to do nothing. And the second part is that the president and the vice president, they haven't even, Biden just recently accidentally slipped and called it a crisis because the White House didn't want him to have say that. But it is more than a crisis down there. And then the vice president, she hasn't even thought about him going down there. And it's important that they do because you've got to see it to understand what's happening. I was there one night with other members of Congress, and around midnight we saw groups coming up from the Rio Grande River, and it's pretty much how many people you can put on a raft, these smugglers. And they're getting $4,000 a head for a Central American, $35,000 for a Chinese national. And as these people come up, the Border Patrol escorts them over to a processing center, and then they move them over to another facility. But for where we were at what they call the Donna facility, it's a temporary, but it's almost a permanent temporary facility that is only supposed to hold 250 people. When we were there were 3,500 people there. And most of them were all kids. The Border Patrol had intercepted over 19,000 unaccompanied alien children. They have 5,500 in custody today. And these pods are only supposed to hold 33 kids. And I want people to think about this. Let's just say you took your kids to school one day and they had 33 kids in a classroom. The next day you go back, there are 600 kids in that classroom. And that's what it's like.
Wow!
It's just, the sea. It's just a human sea of little kids, and so they get them cleaned. They get them fed. They get them clean clothes. They wash their old clothes. But they're only supposed to be in Border Patrol for only 72 hours. Some of these kids are now 3 to 4 weeks. One little girl was there for over 28 days, because again. These kids are coming up here unaccompanied, and if they can't find out who they belong to, we've got them right there. So it's a tragedy. But here's the other thing I want people to think about: they're so overwhelmed, they're putting people on planes to send them around the country to different places. They give them a brown envelope that says "I can't speak English" with some information in it, and put them on airplanes. No IDs. No COVID testing, and so they're going around the country, and people ought to be asking the Biden administration, could I, as an American, come back from Mexico without a COVID test? Right. No. You can't even, as an American, cross the border without a COVID test. And this is what's happening, and this administration has to be held responsible.
All right, that was Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of Ohio. That's only like a third of the interview, as we went for about 20, 25 minutes long. So we'll have a special feature uploaded as an additional podcast there after the show so you can listen to the entire thing. And it gets into some really good, juicy things. We continue on the conversation about the immigration debates. We also go on about the climate change, the AOC Green New Deal, the water rights issue, and some of the stuff that he's working on as well. So it's a really fascinating interview. You're not going to want to miss that. Make sure to go to HooserReason.com. Also, any of your favorite podcasting sites, and you can listen to the full interview in just a little bit. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll touch on some of the things that he had mentioned, the immigration crisis, the children just swarming the border. What the heck, man, and what do we do about all this? Plus, can you get paid just to go to interviews now because people are that desperate for you to show up and actually start working again? All that and more coming up right here for a Friday on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hoosier Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today. 24 minutes past the hour, radio and TV. Plus, we have the live stream and podcasting going as well on a Friday, a Freedom Friday, a Free-for-All Friday, which, by the way, I know we don't usually get to take calls now with us going everywhere, but you can email me, and I love taking emails, which you can do that at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. No I in Hoosier. And you can email me any topics, any thoughts, and we'll jump into our mailbox.
What's in the mailbox?
So we have a segment designed specially for you. I was thinking about the interview we just did with Congressman Bob LATTA from the 5th District of Ohio about the massive amount of children coming up from the southern border. I mean, when you look at a classroom that usually has 25 to 30 kids and there's 600 of them crammed in there, I mean, the first thing you got to do is you got to go to the fearless leader, right? Fearless leader, Joe Biden. How you feeling there, buddy? You feeling good today? You do?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
All right, just making sure. Children, what are your thoughts on the children coming up? I mean, you have a very good connection with children, right?
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Our fearless leader and his thoughts on the crisis at the southern border. At the same time, now as I tease this story, there's a headline out of Florida. Florida McDonald's offering $50 just to show up for job interviews. Why? Probably because the fact that we have, extended unemployment benefits, an additional $300, $400 a week for the unemployment due to COVID-19. And now that we are beginning to open things up again, and now that restaurants and bars and nightclubs are trying to get their business up and going again, people are actually making more money staying at home for the unemployment benefits, which I got to be honest, I wouldn't really put it past them, wouldn't doubt it. I'd probably do the same thing myself. At the same time, the big question really is, why would the government extend it that far? But if we are going to try and open things up again, is that what it's going to take to actually open things up again? Again, let's go back to our fearless leader, Joe Biden, on the campaign. You talked about your economic plan. What are you going to do to try and spur the economy here in the nation?
So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happens? They make you management.
I mean, sounds like a sure thing. At least the economy's in good hands with Joe Biden. Or is it Kamala Harris? I forget. One or the other. I don't know. But if we're taking it to the next level of actually needing to offer $50 just to show up to job interviews, we had a comment on social media. It makes sense. You could show up to 2 to 3 job interviews a day and you could make a living. Not take the job, just go and do the job interview. Now, McDonald's is the only one doing this right now, but how many are going to have to start doing this again to get people back into the workforce if there are jobs available? I made the comment earlier that the state of Kansas, we have 45,000 jobs available on our kansasworks.com website. Now, obviously, we're all over the country right now. We're not just in Kansas, but we're at a record number for Kansas alone. We have 3 million people over the population in the state of Kansas. We have 45,000 jobs as a record that the State Department of Labor is saying, hey, this is available for you. And yet no one wants to actually go and take it. It's a wild concept to me. So what's it going to take? Do we cut the benefits? Do we try and incentivize? Is this the push to try and raise the minimum wage? The heck's going on here? At some point, they're going to try and raise the minimum wage, obviously, because they're boosting up the inflation of the dollar so badly that we're going to have to, because it's going to be unaffordable for everything, and we're just going to have to raise minimum wage at the same time. So we're in a predicament here where we're kind of in that rock and that hard place. Things are wanting to open up, but yet we're still offering the special goodies for individuals to not offer and open up. Then businesses are going to take it into their own consideration, and then we're going to do with the COVID-19 regulations. We're in that sticky spot. It's what direction we decide to go moving forward. All right, we'll take a break. We'll shift gears a little bit when we come back. Innovation Day, Invention Day, and something fun we'll have for you. A nice little treat when we come back here on The Voice of Reason for a Free for All Friday. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. day.
So it's a win-win.
Just find us at Hoosier Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HoosierReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hoosier Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hoosier Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today on a Friday, radio and TV, plus the live streaming podcasting, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time, having more fun than watching Joe Biden try to walk up a flight of stairs. Just saying. Throwing it out there. All right, I'm excited. Let's shift gears a little bit here. We've had a lot of politics for the first half hour, really a lot of politics throughout this whole week, so let's calm it down just a little bit. Namaste. We'll take a deep breath, we'll shift gears, have a little bit more lighthearted fun as we talk about the latest and what's trending.
What's trending today?
So what's trending today is there's this TV show that a lot of people like to watch, and there's one guy on there that I don't necessarily care for with his politics, but nonetheless, it's still an entertaining show with Shark Tank, and I know you've seen it. I know you enjoy it. I know you watch it. And there's a group of guys here in studio with us that actually from the Wichita area that has been on Shark Tank, and their episode is set to air tonight. Tonight, which I am super excited to have these guys in here. So, Tyler and Matt, you guys have had a creation, and there's one other guy with the team as well, but you guys created an invention. How long have you had this now?
While now. It's been probably over 6 years since we first started the original concept.
Really?
Yeah, Jeff, my partner who's not here, who's doing some back-end work, getting ready for our airtime tonight, invented the idea about 6 years ago, and it evolved from there.
Very cool. Now, I wanted to do this because obviously with the show airing tonight, this is the perfect opportune time to do it. But as we're in this weird, wonky state of staying at home and people trying to work from home and being out of work, to me, that spurred me to start my own production company, my own business. A lot of people started to try and work from home, do their own stuff. Right now is the perfect opportune time for people to look at inventions or finding new innovative ways to start businesses at home or work from home. And this is kind of the perfect time for you guys to be doing the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, exactly. Yeah, working from home, which the Scrubby was definitely built, in a home. That's where the idea came from, everything.
And, with the whole pandemic, we had a little bit extra time at the beginning of last year to kind of work on some of this stuff. So
kind of tweak it.
2020 was a hell of a year for everybody, us included.
I can imagine. Now, the product, as you mentioned, is called the Scrubby.
The Scrubby.
The Scrubby.
Question is, what is the Scrubby?
The Scrubby is a universal cleaning attachment designed to make better use of your kitchen sink sprayer. So that was the original concept. You got your spray gun, you're spraying down your dishes. Next thing you want to clean the last bit of food off your plate. To do that, your tendency is to scrape the plate. So we were like, voila, that's the invention. We put a scrub attachment right on top of that, and we got the Scrubby. So then it evolved to the pull-down faucet as well. And we were thought, what the hell, let's just put it on the garden hose and put internal threads on it. So
I like
it is a universal cleaning attachment.
So you can put it on your sprayer or the detachable, and it's essentially a sponge where you can actually scrub the plate while you're still rinsing it with the water instead of kind of having to do one or the other.
All in one.
One of those why didn't I think of it ideas. So simple.
So simple. You're right, but it makes... Now, when did you guys go to Shark Tank? You guys filmed this a while ago, right?
Yes, we went to film Shark Tank in Las Vegas last August.
Okay.
So that's when they filmed
during the COVID
season.
stuff, which I'll get into in a second too. Yeah.
So it was
pandemic promotions.
Definitely. So it was definitely a time.
Oh, I got a message on social media. Does it work for showers too?
Ooh, maybe that's our new attachment idea for the future. The Scrubby is still evolving to this day.
Yeah.
We have plenty of ideas for attachments that we're going to do later on. Right now, it's just 2-sided sponges. But we have multiple attachments that we're going to do in the future, one of which is a pet cleaning attachment for your outdoor hose.
I like it.
A prototype for cleaning your car, and so they're all being designed right now.
Yeah, the hose stuff outside would definitely be good for the pet and for the car. But I like the idea of the shower too. I mean, you had the little scrunchy thing that people wash with. I mean, heck, put that right on the shower hose with a detachable one.
I love it.
Yeah, the only problem is there's many different types of shower hoses. There's fewer diversity in the sink types.
Yeah.
So our product fits on 99% of kitchen faucets. We'll have to do the math on the shower heads.
What was the big aha moment that you guys had to say, wow, this is a big deal? I mean, obviously it's such a simple thing, but yet it's something that's going to really take off. When did this really get some momentum behind it?
The original idea, was when we figured out that we could put a sponge on this device and make better use of it. We thought everybody has a kitchen sink sprayer. It's one of those things that's in every household. And then with the evolvement of this product and being able to put it onto a garden hose, that's just everybody has a garden hose too. So many ways you can use it.
How cool. Now talk about the process of going on to Shark Tank. Obviously it was a little bit weird because of it's a COVID year, so I'm sure that Vegas had kind of some wonky rules as well. But talk about this process. How did you guys get connected with them, and how did the process go?
So basically you had to fill out an application.
Okay.
And hundreds of thousands of people file application every year.
I can imagine, yeah.
And from those, they dwindle it down to about 1,000 people. And then from there, they dwindle it down to right around 100 people.
And they air 88.
And they air 88 of those 100. So we had to meet out to hundreds of thousands of people, down to the thousands. And
we did some online marketing last year, and we're doing some selling. And we thought, what else can we do with this marketing? Let's reach out to partners. Let's try to grow this business.
Yeah.
And what our marketing lady did was actually apply for Shark Tank on our behalf without really saying anything to us. So when we got the call from Shark Tank, it really caught us off guard. But, we felt like our product was a good fit for the show. We were a good fit for the show, so we rolled with the punches. And next thing you know, we're going to be on Shark Tank.
Going to be on Shark Tank.
Had to do your submission video, and they loved our energy, loved our submission video. It was pretty comical.
Now, is it the same people that actually you go to do the presentation in front of? Are they the ones that watch the videos as well, so they kind of have an idea going into it?
Yes, we pretty much were with the same publicist and producer throughout the whole, the whole, 6 months it took, from start to end.
Okay.
It was a very long process.
It was a long process, and
sure.
The Scrubby actually started, our first outing was at the Wichita Women's Fair. 2019. So we did the same show in 2020. A lot of success. Had 50 people come up to us that weekend and say, you guys need to be on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
It was the very next day after that show they called us.
You got the phone call.
We get so many people were saying it, and like Hosey was like, man, kind of getting a little annoyed here. It's like 100 people come up
all weekend long. You guys need to be on Shark Tank. I'm like, all right. Hope maybe we'll see.
So we were getting
these days.
So every time someone bought a Scrubby, we had to do what we call the Scrubby dance
to keep
the crowds around our booth. And
nice.
So if you bought 3 Scrubbies, we would bust out the Scrubby dance.
And you can go to our Facebook page to see that Scrubby dance.
You gotta buy 3 Scrubbies if you want to see the dance.
I like it. Now, you didn't have to dress up in anything funky for that, right?
No.
Dance on the table. Yeah, okay.
You can't disclose everything.
Oh, okay.
Right. There are little trade secrets and a trade secret for the Scrubby dance also.
That's right.
I'll tell you it all.
Now, the Shark Tank experience, when you got to Vegas, obviously it was during COVID. I mean, a little bit tighter restrictions. Did you get to meet with the investors and Mark Cuban and everybody there? How did that process go?
No. This was a lot different year than they normally do it. I think normally it's a 3-day process. You show up, you deal with your jet lag. The next day you pitch to the producers. The next day you pitch to the Sharks. COVID kind of threw a little fork in that for all of us, and so we had to do a lot longer process, some of which I'm not sure what I can divulge, but we had to do some things that took a long time to do.
Just like every business out there, it was right in the middle of the height of the pandemic, so of course we had to quarantine and everything.
Right.
So yes, the process.
So you got a longer time in Vegas then?
Yes.
Yeah, you just didn't get to do anything.
Exactly.
It's like the paradise right there, and you're just
watch everybody else having all the fun without us.
Yeah, exactly. Now, did you meet the actual investors beforehand at all, or was the first time you saw them right when you walked on stage?
Right when you walked. So that's about all we can divulge. But
okay.
Because of the quarantine and COVID, we didn't meet anyone. It was boom, you're there, boom, you're out.
You did it.
Most of the time, you can even talk to the other entrepreneurs that were there, and we didn't really get that chance.
Didn't even get to do that.
Didn't even get to see a lot of the other.
Interesting. Now, the episode's airing tonight, which means we don't get to know right now on what kind of deal may have been struck or may not have been struck, correct?
That's correct. We can't divulge any information about the show.
All we can say is that airtime is a good thing, and so we're very proud of how far we've come with this.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to get airtime on the show. So.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, like you said, with hundreds, thousands of applications, 1,000 that they actually look at seriously, whittling that down to even only 88 that they actually air from 100 interviews that they do. The fact that you guys made it that far, I mean, that's a big deal. Just by mentioning that, even without the interview posting yet, have you guys seen an increase in excitement and generation from what you guys are doing?
Oh, huge.
Okay.
A lot since then, and people that are kind of in that inner circle, and this week, all the PR this week. Has been huge. The local Wichita in the state of Kansas have been awesome. The support has just blown up.
Sure.
So we just found out, 2 or 3 weeks ago that we were going to air it. So since then, we've had a lot of work to do.
Wow.
And, we've gotten a lot of support locally, and it's been great.
Lining things up thereafter as well for the summertime.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Now, what kind of shows? I mean, I'm assuming kind of home renovation shows, different things like that. How do you get this kind of product out?
Well, the main thing on that is
submit yourself to Shark Tank and pray.
Practice, just practice being have a nice comical pitch to get on national TV. Because 5 million people do air into Shark Tank.
Sure.
So we're going to be reaching 5 million people.
Huge.
Tonight, tomorrow, whatnot. But to get a product out like this, it's a lot of cold calls.
Yeah.
Talking to looking up licensors,
and there is no straight linear way to go about trying to get a product from your head to the market. There's a lot. It's a roller coaster. You just got to keep trying things and keep working.
We hired some marketing companies also. A lot of online marketing. Reaching out, calling. Just calling the stores, trying to get to that right person in a Target or a Home Depot.
Sure.
Or something.
Bed Bath & Beyond, that sort of thing.
It's tough to get into. There's a lot of things, but we're jumping on Shark Tank, so doors are opening.
That's a big one.
A lot of doors are opening.
Yeah,
so it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take a break here in a second. You can visit at thescrubby.com, also on social media, as well as the guys Tyler, Matt here in studio. When we come back, I want to shift gears a little bit with it and talk about how the process that you guys made to actually make the product, to actually create the demos, to make this whole presentation, and then some tips for people that have ideas in their mind on how they actually get started down this road, because there's so many people that I hear that say, hey, I have this great idea, I just don't know how to make this actually a reality.
Get ready to fail. One of our angel investors once told me, there's reality and then success.
Ooh.
In the middle, you got disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment. We'll do that when we come back. Got to take a break. It's a Friday here on The Voice of Reason, talking about inventions. We'll have some fun with that, wrapping up the program here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. Conservative Messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Friday, the fastest hour of radio on radio, plus TV and live streaming as well. Great to have you along for the ride today as we wrap up, and we're talking inventions, innovation, as we talk about the Scrubby, thescrubby.com. You can also find them on the social media as well at the Scrubby. And two out of the three guys, Tyler and Matt, hanging out with us here in studio. Let's talk about, and again, you can find it on Shark Tank. Tonight is when the episode airs, so it's a big night for them. And by the way, I appreciate you guys coming in on the night of the big night. This is awesome.
Premiere.
So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Getting a little nervous.
2 hours, too.
I'm feeling it. That's right. Even you guys already know the outcome and you're nervous.
Ooh, I think I'm more nervous now to watch myself on TV than it was being there in the tank.
Not, but I get what he's saying.
That's right. Now, you can't divulge a little bit of how, what you did during the presentation, can you? You know, like doing some scrubbing, kind of looking over the shoulder, scrubbing the plate.
Once the pitch, though, that's, I think it was a couple minutes long or something. So no matter what happens with the editing of the segment, the pitch will remain the pitch. Those 2 minutes will stay those 2 minutes on the air, and that'll be good advertising for us.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. That's way cool. Talk about the process it took to get this up, the actual building of the demo piece and how you design that, how you get it to somebody to actually make something like that. Like I mentioned, I got messages from people all the time of, I have an idea, I want to do an invention, I just don't know who to put it in front of to make a prototype, to actually make the product, and to get it out there for people to look at. How do you talk about that process?
Well, it starts with building the right team and knowing when people around you are smarter than you and know who can take the task. And we were fortunate enough to work with some local engineers who gave us some great designs, and we tested it, and actually went through 6 different stages, but we got help,
Sure.
It wasn't just all us. So I mean, we had to seek help from people around us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't ever stop learning.
Can't ever stop
Can't
learning.
ever stop.
That was good at it. Yeah.
I like
Good job,
that.
Tyler.
I like that.
But
yeah.
you gotta put the team together.
Sure.
Everybody has what their expertise.
No, when you have a
So-
prototype and you actually have the first thing built, which I'm sure you're just like, wow, this is cool. I actually, made this. It came to reality. What do you do then? I mean, is it just going out to people and be like, hey, I got this thing, check it out?
You want to make sure before you send it out there and start sending it to people, of course, you got to take care of your legal side because it can get stolen real quick. You got to cover yourself. Start your patent process, start your trademarks.
Yep.
Get a lawyer, get some some non-disclosure agreements wrote up,
Interesting.
and then go out. You got to cover yourself first because if you send that out there without an NDA or without a patent, anyone can take it and say it's theirs, and there's no way to prove that it's not yours. You have to take care of that step first. It's
and then
huge.
you're kind of, so I mean, you're just, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it after that.
Yep.
Patents are important.
Yeah,
and then
interesting.
And you have to, of course, if you have a dream to invent something, you pretty much have to go all in.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money.
You kind of have to have the money up front as well.
Sure.
You have to.
And, submitting us, in front of Shark Tank to make this a success maybe isn't exactly what we wanted to do at first, but in order to make this thing a success, you do what you got to do.
Sure.
So that's what we did.
Wow, it's almost like it's such a gamble to do it, to get the investors to get the money to make a prototype and just to see if it works.
Just selling them on the idea in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Matt here sold me on the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're out just having a nice business lunch together, and he showed me the commercial.
I sold the salesman.
I like it. I like it. That's
So
awesome. I sense, I sense this, like, after you guys, make this big and it goes on Shark Tank and whatever kind of deal you guys get, or if you didn't, whatever, I sense afterwards, I mean, you guys have a big team here, like a Duck Dynasty reality TV show about the Scrubby.
Oh, I mean,
I'm sensing something like that. What do you think?
Rock and roll.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's keep it going. Yeah, honestly, if you put a camera around us 24/7, well, Tyler alone, if you followed him with a camera, he could have his own reality TV show.
I mean, I have like 2 followers on Facebook.
Yeah,
so,
that personality's worth at least $100. So.
You're on the way. That's awesome. I'm excited about it. What time does it air tonight?
Tonight, 7 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
Be there.
Yeah. Be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Shark Tank. It's the Scrubby. You can find it at thescrubby.com, also on the social media as well. And now, how many can you track? And we got just about 30 seconds or so left. Can you track how many states that you've sold the product in right now?
Yes, we on our Shopify account, I can see exactly where someone buys one. We have a nice whole map of United States, and it shows the pings of where everyone's buying one.
And you're all over the country now.
All over the country. Actually, let's go worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah,
that's
we
right.
got some worldwide stuff, mostly here in Kansas. And thanks a lot for the local support again, guys. It's been great.
Hey, well, I appreciate you guys coming in. Now, tomorrow we have the local show here on the KQAM airwaves. If you guys come in tomorrow morning, we'll do a recap after the show airs so we can talk about it in a little bit more detail, and we'll have some fun that way.
Get your scrub on.
Go, baby!
Get your scrub on.
The Scrubby. Tyler and Matt, appreciate it very much, guys. Good luck tonight on Shark Tank. Until then, that does it for us today on The Voice of Reason. You can find us all over, podcast up in just a little bit. Until then, use some of that. Use it, baby. It's been COVID, and you can utilize and actually be inventive on your own. It's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Back at it on Monday. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website,